So welcome to the show, everyone. I love my show. I love talking about everybody else on my show, and what I love most about it is the listeners. Thank you for listening to me for all of these years, 17 years, almost 18 in August, and I am so happy about bringing on my first guest. We're live on Facebook, so first I want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. This time of the year, there's a lot of people that are going to be getting together soon, very soon. I have with me first Tiffany Phelan, and she is the owner of Senior Helpers, and also we have Jennifer Kramer, and Jennifer is the owner of Legal Stuff. Now, let me tell you folks, first of all, I want to say something about both of you. You are seniors advocates, okay? And I love about the way that you have such passion for what you do and how you work with your people. So let me introduce you first, Tiffany, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what we're going to talk about today.
Hi Carol, so my name is Tiffany Phelan and I am the owner of a company called Senior Helpers. We've been here in the Valley for 17 years, almost 18, and we've actually been around the country, all over the country since 2001. So what we do is we provide non-medical caregiving services to seniors. So imagine your parents are living at home and you start going over there and it's not as tidy as it used to be. Maybe they're not, you can kind of tell they're not eating so well. Maybe they're not getting their groceries from the store, or you've been in the car with them and you can attest to the fact that maybe it's about time to give up the keys. So those are the times when people tend to call us. We'll come in and we'll help anywhere from 4 hours once a week all the way up through 24/7, whatever the family's asking for. And our goal is to keep our seniors at home independent and in the place where they want to be for as long as possible.
Now, Jennifer Kramer. Jennifer, I've known you for a long time too now, and you were Jennifer Stupski. You're now back to Kramer. Let's talk a little bit about you and what you do and how you help those seniors out there.
I have a couple companies. One is Legal Stuff, where I can draft legal documents, the estate planning, the power of attorneys, the wills, trust, whatever they need to help protect their assets. I also have First Choice Fiduciary Services. I'm a licensed fiduciary, so I can assist those elderly that need someone to help make decisions, financial decisions for them, and help keep them on track and keep them from being taken advantage of.
So I'm just going to go into this with people now going to be having Thanksgiving together with their families, coming in town, seeing mom and dad or someone that they love, or that they see that's a little bit off. Okay, I want you to talk about some of the signs that you said earlier, but also how do we talk about that conversation? Because that is so hard, because the parents are like, don't talk to me that way,
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, what's one for you, Jennifer? I got it all taken care of.
It's all taken care of.
That's a good one, yeah.
Or I'm fine. So of the thousands of clients that I've worked with, and I'm sure Jennifer's very similar, they're all fine.
They're all fine.
They're all fine.
They've got it under control.
Yeah.
When the evidence might not suggest that.
Right. And guess what, folks? When you are dealing with something like this, first of all, I think that people should put their numbers in their phone. Because one thing I found out, that things happen suddenly and they happen fast, right?
That's right.
So I want to talk a little bit about that. Go ahead, Tiffany. I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, so with all the families I've met, I know that one of the themes that I hear is, I kind of saw some changes. I'm going to the house, I'm just seeing these things. Maybe my mom's repeating stories, or my dad's getting lost, or their Thanksgiving dinner got peeled back to just opening cans, or something like that. And so these are all signs. These are all signs, and I think everyone who's had an aging parent can see some of those changes, even if their aging parent is still very independent, right? Mm-hmm. And so it comes down to, when do you have those conversations? Do you have them after someone's had a fall and they're in the hospital, and now you have a big life decision, like a big life change, and they can't go back home? Or do you have that conversation much sooner than that, and really start to understand what your parents really want? And that's one of the things I love about what Jennifer does, is opening up that conversation about how do we honor our parents' wishes.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite documents, it's called 5 Wishes. And it's like 5 or 6 pages long, and it is so detailed. It's a living will, or directives. but it gives you so many different scenarios now because of Alzheimer's and dementia and people living longer but not the quality of life that they used to live. It gives you all those options, and they can choose now how they want to be treated later, and that's important.
And that's a really hard conversation to have with your parents, because you are in a certain way accepting mortality when you have that conversation.
Right.
But the real question is this: I think most of us are good people and we want to honor our parents the way that they want, right? Things that they want is what we want to be able to carry out for them. And the question used to be with a will, what would happen if I die? What happens to my assets? What happens? The real question now, because we're living so long, is what happens if I live? And what happens if I can no longer advocate for my own wishes?
Well, and then you've got several children of all different personalities. So you're going to pick one to make your healthcare decisions because they're more empathetic and then you're going to pick another one that's more financial and can take care of your financial stuff. It's important to choose the right person.
The right person, but also having things not only done but notarized. I think that's
Right.
really, really important too. And a lot of people out there, you should dust them off, right? And there's a lot of people that have done a long time ago, and that's why they say that, oh, it's done, right?
Right.
But things have changed, and especially in the world that we live in today. I bet you even for you, Tiffany, I bet you that you find that when you go in and you're working with somebody, there's a lot of different things you have to make sure that you do to cover your, because a lot of people, things happen, right? But you're covering things are different in your world, and I know for you, Jennifer, there are big, big, big differences than it used to be.
Absolutely. The mental power of attorney is becoming imperative right now, and Arizona's very strict on that. They won't even allow, because there's so many blended marriages, so they don't even allow spouses to have a say if there's children from a previous marriage. I mean, it's getting really difficult for people.
Yeah, I want to give out the information. First of all, Tiffany's, her phone number is 480-360-4141. You can check them out on their website. It's seniorhelpers.com. They're valley-wide, and they're A+ rated everywhere. I mean, 5-star rated, everywhere you can look, they are. Jennifer, I want to also get your information out. Now, she is now Jennifer Kramer. When you hear her ads and her disclaimer, she is Jennifer Kramer. Her phone number to call is 602-457-2333. Also check her out on her website, which is legalstuffaz.com. Final words before we go to a break. What would you want to leave with them?
You know, when we come back from the break, I really want to give people some practical ideas about how to have these conversations. And so maybe we can each talk about a couple of situations we've been in and how we would coach our clients or their families in how to have some of those more difficult conversations.
And if it's okay with you, I'm going to go ahead and do what we've done before and do a giveaway, okay? Because Jennifer really likes for everybody to get, it's a full inclusive, tell them it's a will and a trust-based
Well,
plan.
it's the will packet.
It's
So
a
it's got the
packet?
last will and testament, it's got the durable power of attorney, the healthcare power of attorney, the mental health, and a beneficiary deed, and a living directives.
And that is a $495 value, free to you or anyone that you know. And we've got our lines open here for everyone. Everyone is going to get entered into win. And I believe, like you said, you got to have, these are important conversations that we're talking about here. And wake up, America, because you know what? I mean, if you don't have it, maybe for you, you may not even realize it, but for your loved ones, it makes things so hard, you won't believe it. Again, you can call in here and get entered into win that will-based trust. It's a number to call here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further.
Nice.
We're still
Awesome.
live. Okay, so we're going to keep on going.
Yeah.
And just tell them, keep on talking a little bit here. The number one thing that you get, all the time. What happens when you come in and you know that people are talking to you and you say, Mom won't listen.
Yeah, so I will say that my own mother, who received services from my company before she passed away, I've done this for 20 years in this industry. My own mother wouldn't take any of my advice, not one iota, not one thing, not ever. And I picked up on that pretty quickly, and because I've done this for so long, I discovered that the best person to deliver any information I wanted to present to my mom was actually one of my staff members. And so she had her own care manager, and she would communicate with the care manager. Does she like the caregiver? Is she happy with the care plan? Does she need to change the schedule? Because taking myself out of the communication was really helpful. And I think for a lot of folks, being able to have professionals communicate some of these hard facts, as an example, right? Like driving is a great one. It's one thing from the child, but it's another thing from the doctor.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
how do you get those professionals lined up to have some of those conversations where you're supporting them? Maybe you're there with them at the doctor when the doctor breaks the news. But how do you do that in a way that's still respectful? That way you get to be 100% the good guy. Oh my gosh, I
Right.
can't believe the
It
doctor
takes
said
you out
that
of it
to you.
completely, yeah.
Right, I can't believe the doctor said that, but they're a doctor, we have to believe them, so now what do we do? Let's come up with a plan together. Instead of, the alternative would be, Mom, come on, you suck at driving. Right? That's a horrible
Oh, you
thing.
lost
I
your
get that all the
keys. Darn, where did they go?
Yeah, that's horrible. You're gonna kill somebody. That's not, you don't wanna communicate a message that way, so you want to be.
Well, but that's what they do. And then it starts getting tension, and then of course people then put their heads even further into the sand because they really just don't even they don't wanna deal with it. It's a tension type of thing, and here in America, I feel like most Americans, they don't wanna talk about death. They'll talk about anything else, but when it comes to death, they're planning, right?
Yeah.
Getting older, they don't wanna know about it. And so
What do they care? They'll be dead.
Well,
That's
okay,
what
but
they
they'll-
say. You're like, I don't care what you do, I'm not here.
Yeah, you know what, I've heard that when people say that, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, wait, but here's the thing though, again, it's not about whether they're dead. What happens if they're not dead? They're incapacitated.
Exactly.
Now they're in the hospital or somewhere where they're in some sort of a coma maybe, and now.
Medical bills and all these crazy things. The reverse mortgages are getting really popular again, so.
Or you have children who really do care about each other, and the parent, by not expressing their wishes, is actually creating more tension with their children, because it's up to the children to battle it out.
Right.
When really, if all those kids said, "Oh, this is what Mom wants," they probably would fall in line.
Mhm.
It's in the vacuum, in the void, that the problem occurs.
I also think that a lot of the kids today, they don't even want any of it anyway, right?
You're right,
That's
all
another
this
thing.
stuff.
They don't even want it. So welcome back, everyone. We're talking about people who don't want to listen to their children when it's time for you to maybe make some decisions about not driving, or maybe you should not be living on your own anymore. Something that is so important that we've been talking about. Jennifer, tell them the number one piece of paper that everyone has to have 18 years on up.
The durable power of attorney.
Okay, that's number one. And then you talked about a little bit about medical.
The medical and the mental. And you know what's interesting about Arizona is they have a registry. So a lot of people can't find their original documents, like when something happens just overnight, right? And you have a stroke and you're going to the hospital and everyone's trying to find these medical power of attorneys. Arizona has a registry that you send a copy of it into them, and they'll send you a card. And so when you go to the hospital, all the hospitals have access to that registry, and they could just look up your power of attorney.
Now you're looking for the card. So here's the deal, right? You really want to make sure that, first of all, I think what's really nice about you is that you can help people with making sure that's all done, and having a plan when that happens
Right.
in your home, right? What to do if. Now, Jennifer is offering for everybody to get entered into when it's a will package. It's a $495 value, free to you. It has everything you need. Listen up, people. Don't put your heads in the sand. Call in here and get entered into win, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show. We're going to be here for a while, for the whole hour, talking about this, trying to get you guys to understand you got to do this. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100.
Plus,
So,
if they say they heard it here, they get 30% off if they don't win.
right, that's one thing that she also does. I have to remember everything as we go along here doing these segments. So yes, if anyone doesn't win, she always gives 30% off as well. So, okay, back to you, Tiffany, okay? What you find for the people that are in their homes, now they're all coming home, they're seeing Mom, maybe Mom doesn't look really normal, right? Or she's fallen, I know.
Something's changed. That's what we say. We always just say something's
Yeah,
changed.
something
Something
looks
doesn't
wrong.
seem
They're
the
wearing
same.
like a sweater goes over their hands so that you can't see them. I mean,
Or dirty clothes.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Go ahead, what else?
So I would say oftentimes it's dirty clothes, not showering. Maybe somebody who used to be very social is declining social invitations. That is a potential sign of a cognitive change, because nobody wants to make mistakes. So if we see our parents and they're not doing some of the activities they used to enjoy, and sometimes they'll make it sound very reasonable. I'm old, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do anymore. Well, that sounds very reasonable, but do we want to dig a little deeper and understand if there's some other reason that they don't want to be participating? Maybe they realize they're making some mistakes, and so that's always something to look out for too. Has there been a big change in how they live their life, what their day-to-day routine looks like?
What you said too was that what's really nice, these conversations need to be had by everyone. They come down to it, everyone's gonna have this conversation at some point, most likely, okay? But what's nice to have you do this for them, it takes that person, that child, or whoever you are to that loved one, out of it completely. Go ahead.
Sure, and so one of the examples that I gave at the break was that my mother, who lived with me for 5 years and then in assisted living for 1 year before she passed, I've done this for 20 years. My mother wouldn't take any advice from me, not one tiny little bit of advice, even though I would, some
Even
people
though you've been in this
consider
business
me to be an
for
expert.
20 years.
But she wouldn't. So I figured that out pretty early on. I've worked with so many families that I knew what was going on. I really needed to assign her her own care manager at my company, to do the same thing that we would provide every single one of our clients, which is to manage their care, help them through and to make more complex decisions, help coach the family. Those are all of the things that our care managers can do to help people through this process, right? Keep moving forward. And it worked really well. She talked to them about whether she liked the caregiver, whether she liked the care, whether she wanted a change of schedule. And the magic in it is the same magic in any difficult decision. Is it possible to have a third party have some of those conversations? You may be present in the room as the adult child, of course, but can the message be delivered by somebody else? And the other example that and I saw your face, Jennifer, you were agreeing with me, is when you're talking about driving, the big one, right, the big conversation. When you're talking about driving, do you as the adult child need to tell your parent, you can no longer do this, or would it be okay to bring them into the doctor, pre-warn the doctor, and have the doctor have the conversation with them?
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you get to be the supportive person instead of the person delivering the really bad news.
Here's another thing that I want to talk about too, is a lot of people think they can do it on their own, you know, and really honestly, folks, you really can't. There's nothing like having a professional who knows what they're doing and your emotions are not involved, right? And I remember my dad was going to take care of my mother. My mom weighed 82 pounds all her life, but when she was sick and ill and couldn't move, Emma was basically almost incapacitated, like you're talking about. She wasn't now 82 pounds. She was 82 pounds, heavy. He could not move her. He could not do it. And we even said, "Go ahead, Dad, try it," because he was being emphatic. "Oh yes, I can do it." No, he couldn't. And this is the point. A lot of people think that they're able to do these things. And Jennifer, you can also attest for the people who, when they think they can do things also on their own with their own wills and trust, they try and do those things on their own as well. Not a good idea. Tell them why it's important to have a professional like you. By the way, she comes to you. She's mobile, right?
Very.
So go ahead.
Well, I mean, every document is so different. There's not a standard anymore because of the dynamics in the world that we live in. So if you're getting a will off the internet or the power of attorneys, those medical power of attorneys, they're just a boilerplate. They're not answering questions or actually telling the staff or the family what they really want. And that's the hard part.
And you need to know that. They need to know that. It's so important. You do a lot for Tiffany. Tell everybody a little bit about when you get them into the homes, some of the things that you can do for them to keep them home, because that's what they want. You know, they're living longer and they want to be at home. They might be deteriorating a little bit themselves, their bodies, but tell them what you can do too.
Sure. So, we call them activities of daily living. And when you, instead of giving you a list of every single activity of daily living, we can all think about what we need to do to get through our day. We all need to be able to make our meals. So that means not just cooking our meal, but we also need to be able to get to the grocery store, go shopping for our meal. We need to keep our house clean and take our trash out. We need to make sure that we have enough water to drink and things like that. We have to get up in the morning and get dressed and get to bed at night and get into our pajamas. We need to take our medications. So when you're thinking of all of those activities that we do almost without thinking, right? We do them as second nature. Those are all of the things that become really challenging for seniors. And so those are all areas where we can assist. So where we don't assist is we don't assist with financial. So if people need help, say, paying their bills or explaining or looking through, that's where Jennifer would come in and we'd give her a call and say, hey, you know what? We've got somebody here, their family is declining to help, or maybe they don't have children. I mean, that is oftentimes the case too. And, or don't have children that are capable of assisting, and so then we would bring in a fiduciary like Jennifer to come in and do that for us. And so outside of that, anything that someone needs to stay home. So we've done things like art projects, and
I love it.
we go, Fashion Square Mall has our caregivers walking around Fashion Square
That's
Mall
awesome.
all summer long, right, when it's too hot to walk outside, just to get a little exercise. We've had people go to the symphony, anything you can imagine, from something that's purely for enjoyment, all the way through something that we really need to do, like taking a shower or a bath, or maybe just, laundry, getting through a long day with somebody with dementia. And the last thing I'll bring up is that for a lot of us that have aging parents, we are the caregiver, and sometimes we need a break. And so sometimes we're doing this either ongoing for a very small number of hours, or just for a short period of time while the primary caregiver is getting a break.
Right, and let me tell you something, when you have that person come in and do this, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it, and you're gonna love that you have somebody that you can count on and trust. That's another thing. You do a free consultation, a free assessment, and let me tell you something, when you meet them, both of them, there are people that you can trust, people that you will realize once you talk to them, you know that gut feeling when you'll know that they're the right people to talk to. Now, Tiffany's number, you can call them direct, it's 480-360-4141. Their website is seniorhelpers.com, and they're A+ rated everywhere. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. It is a complete will package. It's a $495 value, free to you or anyone that you know, and our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. You can go up onto Jennifer's website. It is legalstuffaz.com. And these numbers that I'm giving out here today, I really believe that people should put them in their phones, because I've experienced when all of a sudden from one day to the next something happened and now you're in panic mode. These are people that you could trust. Put the numbers in your phone. Jennifer's is 602-457-2333. What do you want to leave them with for now as we go to a break?
All right, I don't know what to tell them. We'll have to talk about VA benefits as well to help finance that stuff.
I think when we come back, one of the things that people should stick around for is, how do you pay for this care?
That's
Right.
a good thing, because a lot of people want to know. And a lot of people don't realize that there are resources, and that's where Tiffany can help too. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further and call in here and get entered into win this. It's going to be fabulous that you did it.